All right, day 3. Day 3 is very similar to what we did day 2. Day 2 was measuring segments. Now we're talking about measuring angles. So an angle is formed by two rays with the same end point. I know I'm kind of throwing a lot of vocab at you guys, so we are going to go over all the vocab and have a little game with it because your vocab quiz is before your test.
We have a test on it?
Your test is not till like next week sometime. I think your test is the end of next week, next Thursday, Friday. All right, the rays are the sides of the angle, and the end point is the vertex of the angle. Then it says you can name an angle by 3 different ways. The vertex. Before we get started, I want you guys to label this angle with 3 points. So let's write A, B, and C. So if I want to name this angle by its vertex, what's my vertex out of A, B, and C? B. B. Good. There's this little angle mark that we have to use, and this says angle B. We use that notation a lot. Another way we can name the angle is by a point on each ray and the vertex. So I'm going to write angle, and I'm going to go in order of my letters through my vertex. So A, B, and C. That's how I can name that angle. What if I go backwards? What would that be?
C, B, and A.
Good, C, B, and A. I can absolutely not name this angle ACB because your vertex has to be in the middle. So your letter B has to be in the middle. If I go ACB, it doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even follow what this arrow is doing. Let's also assume that I have an arc here and the number 1. So I can also name this angle based on that arc. And I can write angle 1. Alright, so it says, what are the other ways to name angle 1? Take a look at this. Here's my angle 1. That guy right there. The other ways to name this, I can name it angle J and K, because I start here at J, I go down to M, I go up to K. What's another way that I can name this angle?
K and J.
Good. K and J. There's one more way. What's the vertex? What's the vertex? What letter is there?
N.
So angle N. Those are our 3 ways we can name it. All good? Alright, name each shaded angle in 3 different ways. Alright, take a look at this first angle. We have A, B, and C. Okay, it's shaded all through here. So to name this in 3 different ways, I can name it, what's my vertex? I don't have to put those dots anymore. I can do angle B. I can have angle ABC. And one more. What's that last one?
CBA.
Good, CBA. Angle CBA. Same thing for my second angle. FGH is shaded Go ahead, Sam. Okay, what else?
Or HG F
Okay,
angle FG.
good. All right, last one, Diana. MKL. Okay, what else? L and K. What else? Okay, and there's actually one more with this one. What's the last way we can name this? You see that number there? Yeah, angle 1. I know it said 3 different ways, but there's 4, so you can pick any 3 you want. All right, so now we have types of angles. This is a large part of geometry. Have you guys seen these words before? Acute, right, obtuse, straight angle,
Yes.
right? Okay, so you've definitely had geometry a little bit through math, through elementary school and middle school, even though I know you don't remember that far. Well, let's look at the acute angle. Chris, give me a measure that is between 0 and 90 degrees.
75.
All right, so Chris just told us that this angle is 75. You can write whatever number you want. That's just what we're using. We're just trying to make it an acute angle, so it has to be less than 90 degrees. To prove that I have a right angle, you don't even have to write anything inside the angle. You just have to put this square. That square means that it is a right angle. You just have to know that. All right, my obtuse angle. Stephanie, give me an angle measure between 90 and 180 degrees. 100? Okay. Notice how this top ray here is a little wider than the rest of them because it's showing it in the obtuse angle. And a straight angle is equal to 180 degrees. Angles with the same measure, we call that congruent. Who remembers what that symbol for congruent looks like?
Two little lines.
Yep, 2 little lines, which is an equal sign, and then a little squiggly on top. And that means it is equal to. And 2 angles that share a common side, we call those adjacent. Adjacent means that there are 2 angles that are right next to each other. Alright, I put this in my notes twice, so just ignore that. Alright, look at this picture. It's kind of confusing, it's kind of a lot to do at once, but we're just going to jump right in. Alright, number 4 says angle MIG, so I'm going to highlight that. I'm going to look for M. Looks like it's here. MIG. Do you guys see that inside of MIG there are like 3 little arcs there? So that means I need to find something else with 3 little arcs. What could that be? This angle, right? You guys see what those letters would be? You can do JIH or HIJ. Don't forget your angle. Angle JIH. Or you can do it backwards. right, on number 5, this is, number 5, they're asking you for angle PMJ. So use your finger to figure out P to M to J. Okay, so that angle has 2 arcs. What else has 2 arcs? Yeah, G, H, and Q. You can write it either way. So that means that the angle of PMJ is congruent to the angle of QHG, or you can write GHQ. Does that make sense how the arcs kind of match up together? Very good. The reason why that's important, this is why I have highlighters back there, even though I know on the same picture it's hard to do. So you don't have to do that for now. But let's look. It says if the measure of angle KJL, so K, J, and L, is 30 degrees, what else is 30 degrees? All right, you see how KJL has 1 hash mark. What else has 1 hash or 1 arc?
MJI.
MJI, good. So that would be like this guy here. Okay, so if KJL is 30, what's my blue angle going to be? It's also going to be 30, so that's the measure of angle MJ, is that an I?
Yes.
MJI. It's also 30. Your arcs always match up. So the measure of LMP, so LMP, all right, so they're telling me that that one is 100 degrees. Then what is QHG? So that's also going to be 100 degrees because my hash marks are matching. So you would write 100. All right, we're going to write down this definition because I have to tell it to you and you'll see it again. And the definition matches like this first picture here. It may sound a little confusing, but just write what I said. It says the angle addition postulate says if point S is in the interior, what does interior mean?
Inside.
The very top. Should be the very, very top of your paper. Yep, inside. So if point S is in the interior of angle RQT, eventually you guys will get good at how to say these notations. You see this little angle mark, you have to say the angle. Then the measure of angle RQS plus the measure of angle SQT notice a lot of letters. SQT is equal to the measure of angle RQT. What this says is, do you guys see this the first picture there? That means that that first angle on the left plus the second angle on the right is equal to both of them combined. Whenever you see this N in front of an angle, that means measured. All right, that's a good stopping point. Go to lunch. When you get back, we'll finish the examples. That you don't get lost coming back from lunch. Okay, so let's turn to number 1, the last page of your notes. They said that the measure of RQT, so whenever you guys see that there's a measure there, I want you to either highlight it, or use your pencil, just so you can see exactly what angle they're talking about. If the measure of RQT is 155 degrees, they want to know what is this first angle and what is the second angle. What this means, do you guys see that there's two angles there? Right? There's one on the left, one on the right. Together, they add up to equal what? Equal what? What's it say? 155. So what we're going to do is we're going to take whatever expression they gave us and make it equal to 155. So we have 4x minus 20 plus 3x plus 14 is equal to 155. If I combine like terms, what is 4x plus 3x? 7x. What about negative 20 plus 14? Because you should be doing this on your own, because if not, when you do it by yourself, you're going to be so confused. So don't just sit here and wait for someone else to answer and then write the answer down. All right, Diana, how do I solve for x here?
No, let's add 6.
Add 6, good. We're going to add 6 to each side. So I'm left with 7x is equal to 161. Chris, now what do I do?
Divide.
By what? Divide by 7. So we get x is equal to 23. Be careful, they didn't ask me for x. They want to know what these two angles are. That's RQS and SQT. So, angle RQT is 4 times x minus 20. Instead of x, what do I type in? 23. Someone tell me the measure angle. It should be RQS. Sorry. Making so many mistakes.
72.
72. Alright, so Chris just got 72 for this angle.
Wait, you got the same for the other one? Yeah.
You can do it that way, or you can subtract. What's 155 minus 72?
88.
Okay, so if I do 3 times 23 plus 14, I also get 83. Those are my two answers. Notice how these pictures are never drawn to scale. Sometimes they are, but in this case it's not. Because the one that's 72 looks like it's bigger than the other one, right? But we don't really care about that. What I care about is we did the math right, that's 72, and the other one is 83. All right, everyone grab your cell phones. Do you guys have Desmos on your phone already?
My phone is broken.
Okay, that's fine. Do you have your computer with you?
I think it's charged.
Okay.
I was forget to charge it.
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to practice this with Desmos, because Desmos is basically going to cut out all of this work that we just did. You have to know how to set it up. That's not going to change, but it will help you. All right, if you have your computer, go ahead and get it set up. If not, you can use your app.
Stop playing with me, bro.
Chris.
Yeah, I have to do it. There's so many.
It says angle DEF is a straight angle. What does that mean? It's going to equal what? Turn back to the first page. A straight angle is equal to what? 180 degrees. So that means that these two angles, DEF, is equal to 180 degrees. Make sure you write this down. Whatever I write, I want you to write. They're asking what are the measures of DEC and the measure of CEF. Okay, so grab your Desmos. And this is what we're going to do. We need to know how to set this up, okay? So we look back here for a second. I have my first angle is 11x minus 12. My second angle is 2x plus 10. They both are going to equal what? 180. I want you to type that right into your Desmos. All right, someone double check her and see if you got 14 as well. And I'm going to do it up here. I'm going to type in 11x minus 12 plus 2x plus 10 is equal to 180. I need to zoom out so I can see it a little bit better. You should get x is 14. If you want to do it the long way, you can do it the long way. That's why I taught that way to you. But your Desmos can also cut out those extra steps. So let's go back to our problem here. X is 14. How do I know what the measure of DEC will equal, and what's the measure of CEF going to equal? Plug that into your calculators. Or you can still use Desmos. Use that second line. 11 parentheses 14 minus 12 gives us what?
142.
142? Good. And what about the measure of CEF? 38. All right, once you guys are done with that number 2, I want you to do number 3 all on your own. Take 2 minutes. All right, did anyone get an X for number 3?
X equals 6.
You got 6? Of course, you're not done yet? Okay.
I got 34.
Okay, you got that for your angle though, right?
Oh, yeah.
What did you get for X? Did you write it?
6.
Okay, good. Everyone should have 6 for your angle. If you did it by hand, you would have did it by hand, it should be 6x plus 4 plus 8x minus 3 is equal to 79. I know it's 79 because that's what my direction said. Is it a 5? Oh, it is a 5, sorry. Thank you.
I have a question.
Okay.
So for it's plus, it's always gonna be a plus, or it's gonna be a minus.
What do you mean?
Like for 5x plus 4 between the 4 and the 8.
It's always going to be a plus because we're adding both of those angles together. If we subtract it, then they'll be taking this section one out.
What if the 8 was
What if the what?
The 8 was
It wasn't there? Or a negative?
Yeah, if it was there.
If it was a negative, then you could put like a minus sign and then 8. It's the same thing. But it's kind of easier just to do this one plus negative 8. It's the same thing. All right, so then you should get 13x plus 1 equals 79. You're gonna subtract 1, so you would get 13x equals 78. Your x should be 6. Alright, so Chris, what'd you get for this first angle here?
34.
BBC was 34, good. And what did you get for the bottom angle?
45.
45. Did everyone get these numbers? Yeah? Alright, let's talk about your homework. That's it for today. Your homework is homework day 3. And for numbers 10 and 11, I want you to try it, but it may be something that you probably don't understand. Okay, so put a circle beside those. If you skip them, I'm not gonna grade you off on it, but I do want you to try it. If you try it, you'll get a bonus point.
Which one? 11 and 12.
10 and 11.